Hey there, it's therapy and relaxation. Today, we're talking about trauma and the art of rebuilding trust. Let's go! Rebuilding trust after trauma is one of the most intricate and courageous undertakings a person can face. For those who have experienced trauma, whether it be from betrayal, abuse, loss, or any life-altering event, the ability to trust is often deeply shaken. The impact reverberates not only in an individual's relationship with others, but also in the delicate relationship they hold with themselves. Trust, once fractured, does not naturally heal with the passage of time. Instead, it requires intentional effort, patience, and a commitment to understanding the complex nature of trauma's aftermath. When trauma invades the terrain of the human experience, it disrupts the foundation upon which trust is built. The instinctual sense of safety and predictability is replaced by a pervasive vigilance, a readiness for disappointment or danger. This vigilance, while once adaptive in the face of legitimate threats, can become a barrier to connection in the aftermath, manifesting as skepticism, withdrawal, or even self-sabotage. Individuals find themselves hesitating to offer their hearts, to confide, or even to hope for the best in the actions and intentions of others. The process of rebuilding trust after trauma does not follow a linear or one-size-fits-all path. Every individual's journey is colored by their unique histories, personal strengths, the support available to them, and the particular context of their interpersonal relationships. Yet, certain guiding principles can serve as a framework for understanding and navigating this delicate process. It begins with the acknowledgement of the wound. When trust is broken, the pain is not just an abstract feeling, but a real, tangible presence in the survivor's life. To begin healing, one must first permit themselves to grieve what was lost: the innocence, the security, the sense of safety. Suppression or avoidance can delay the healing process, while validation and self-compassion can offer the first threads of reconnection. Understanding the nature of trauma and the body's response is an essential next step. Trauma imprints itself not only on the mind, but on the nervous system. The body may react with exaggerated responses to triggers, a raised voice, an unexpected disappointment, or even a well-intentioned gesture. This is not weakness, it is biology. Recognizing these patterns with self-kindness is foundational in rebuilding trust both in oneself and in others. Re-establishing trust also involves setting boundaries. For many who have experienced trauma, the old boundaries were trespassed, ignored, or never recognized in the first place. Rebuilding trust, therefore, necessitates the assertion of new, healthier limits. This might mean communicating clearly about needs, expectations, and deal breakers. It can also mean learning how to say no or asking for space when overwhelmed. Boundaries are not walls. Rather, they are the fences that define sacred ground, ensuring both parties know where they stand. Another key element in this journey is the pacing of intimacy, both emotional and physical. Trauma survivors may experience hyperarousal, in which emotions and reactions are heightened, or hypoarousal, characterized by numbing and withdrawal. In relationships, these states can be misinterpreted or misunderstood, leading to further wounds. Open and honest communication about these experiences, coupled with patience from both survivor and partner, is crucial. Gentle pacing allows space for safety to be rebuilt over time. In addition, the role of trustworthy actions cannot be understated. Rebuilding trust is less about grand gestures and more about consistent, reliable behaviors over time. For those seeking to regain trust, whether in a romantic, familial, or platonic relationship, the commitment lies in showing up, telling the truth, honoring promises, and apologizing sincerely when mistakes are made. It is the accumulation of these everyday acts that gradually reconstruct the bridge to intimacy. For the trauma survivor, self-trust is often the first and most important foundation. Trauma can erode confidence in one's own judgment, perceptions, and choices. The practice of listening inwardly, trusting gut feelings, and honoring one's own needs and boundaries is fundamental. When individuals learn to honor and trust themselves, they are more equipped to discern trustworthy others and to engage in relationships that support their continued healing. support systems are invaluable. Whether it is through therapy, support groups, or trusted friends and family, survivors benefit when they are surrounded by those who can listen without judgment, validate their experiences, and encourage self-compassion. Professional guidance, particularly from trauma-informed therapists, provides a safe environment in which old patterns can be examined, and concrete tools for navigating relationships can be developed. Forgiveness, though often discussed in the context of healing, must be approached with nuance. Forgiveness is never an obligation. It is a choice that may take time and may not always involve reconciliation. It is possible to progress in healing and to rebuild trust without extending forgiveness to the perpetrator, especially if doing so is detrimental to one's own well-being. What matters far more is the process of releasing the burden of carrying the pain and committing to one's own growth and safety. Throughout the process, self-care remains paramount. Trauma healing is taxing. It demands emotional, mental, and even physical resources. Grounding practices, such as mindfulness, journaling, engaging in creative pursuits, movement, or time in nature, help restore a sense of agency and calm to a system often on high alert. When individuals care for themselves, they signal that they are worthy of love, care, and eventual trust. It is also important to recognize when a relationship cannot be salvaged. In some cases, the betrayals or harms inflicted are too great, or the other party is unwilling or unable to take accountability and demonstrate change. In such circumstances, leaving or redefining the relationship might be the healthiest act of self-trust and self-preservation available. The process of rebuilding trust after trauma unfolds in stages. The first stage is often that of survival, where the primary focus is safety, both physical and emotional. Here, the task is simply to stabilize, to reduce harm, and to begin the process of soothing the overworked nervous system. The next stage is that of remembrance and mourning. During this period, survivors begin to piece together what has happened, to process the emotions, and to grieve not just the trauma, but the shattering of trust and innocence that accompanied it. The third stage is that of reconnection, where survivors venture to engage with the world and with others anew. This is perhaps the most vulnerable and rewarding of the phases. It is marked by cautious optimism, small experiments with opening up, and tentative steps towards intimacy. Progress is rarely smooth. Setbacks will occur, yet each step taken is a victory. It may be helpful to remember that trust is always a risk, regardless of past experiences. To trust is, in a sense, an act of hope in the future. For trauma survivors, this hope can at first feel impossible or even foolish. Yet, as trust is slowly rebuilt, not only is hope rekindled, but the capacity for joy, love, and connection also returns. For those supporting someone who is rebuilding trust after trauma, patience is key. Avoid urging them to get over it or expecting healing to occur on a tight timeline. Instead, demonstrate reliability, listen with empathy, and create an environment in which autonomy and safety are respected above all else. The art of rebuilding a trust after trauma is not about erasing the past. It is about reclaiming the present and opening the possibility of a future defined not by fear, but by connection. It asks survivors to honor their boundaries, to lean into vulnerability at their own pace, and to make peace with the stumbling, imperfect process of healing. Along the way, every act of courage, no matter how small, rewrites the story of what is possible after pain. Ultimately, the journey to rebuild trust is a testament to the human spirit's resilience. Each step forward, each choice to trust, oneself, another, the world, is a triumph over adversity. Though the work is hard and sometimes lonely, the rewards are profound. The rediscovery of safety, a renewed sense of self-worth, and the restoration of intimacy in life's most precious relationships. In learning to trust again, trauma survivors reclaim not only their connection to others, but their connection to themselves and to hope itself. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe us and check out therapyandrelaxation.com for more. See you tomorrow.